Week 7? We're in here, week 7. Bengals week. Dad, how's it going?
Good, Mike. How are you?
Doing pretty good. We've got the Bengals this week. Should be a potential to come back. Have a comeback style game. Let me go ahead and present my window so you can see the chat here. There we go. You guys should be able to see it now. And yeah, we got some guys up in the chat as always. So Gary Washington, Kid Wilson, DF Sports, what's going on? Derek Jones, Biscuit and Gravy, Kyle Lou, Kid Wilson. I saw Edward Rahr is here. We saw Anthony Williams is back. What's going on? Nicholas Stevenson, CH. All the good ones. Waiting for some of the old school guys. Browns fan 1977 has not shown yet, but I'm sure these guys will be here. Guys, what are you thinking? What are we thinking for today? I got to tell you, I'm a little bit nervous. I have seen plenty of times in my life where a team has let a bad loss get in their brain and have that same team beat them 2 weeks in a row and end up losing that second week to a much inferior team. A team that really on paper we beat all up and down the talent sheet. So I think that's really, really what the key is. Can we come back mentally and honestly physically from the last couple weeks where, we've hung on and won a couple of them, but they could have gone the other way. And then the Steelers game was a complete, every way, shape, and form annihilation. So can we go to Cincinnati and can we make that happen? Dad, what do you think?
I think we can make it happen. I think we must make it happen. This is, in my view, a must game. We can't lose 2 in a row, especially to Pittsburgh and then Cincinnati, a much maligned team, over the last couple of years that's got a really good quarterback now. But for me, I got my Baker jersey on today with my Kozar T-shirt underneath. But he is the key. If Baker can come out and have a decent game, throw the ball well, set up the run, the guys do the blocking to protect him when he needs to go back. It'll be interesting to see whether they roll him out and he throws or whether they keep him in the pocket. And, I'm not a big proponent of him being in the pocket. He gets at least 1 or 2 knocked down because guys stick their hands up. So if you move him out a little bit, left or right, misdirection, they gotta be scared of Hunt. They gotta be scared of Odell taking it around the corner or Jarvis. We're missing Hooper with appendicitis. So that's not good, but we got some pretty good tight ends there to fill in and a chance for them to step up. But Baker is the key. He has a good game, we win. He has a bad game or a mediocre game, we lose. Obviously, the defense has got to show up. They got to stop him. Burrow's going to have some success. Maybe we get a tip ball, we get an interception, we get a fumble. We got to stay away from the big plays. Don't give Burrow a 80-yard touchdown, 60-yard touchdown, whatever. Mixon's out, so that's to our advantage.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of things going in our direction. Come out of this game with a win and go 5-2, I think is big. It sets up the Raiders game, and then it sets up the bye week. So I'm very optimistic. I think Stefanski as the new coach, it won't be a Hugh Jackson or a Freddie Kitchens type of week. I think Stefanski and the rest of the good coaches that he surrounded himself with will come up with a game plan, motivation, and we'll see. We'll see what happens out of the box. A lot of times the momentum starts right, with that first series, that first, get it out there. I don't know the status. Maybe the chat knows of Conklin. I think he's back. I think Teller is out. I don't think he's playing.
Yeah, it looks like the only guys that we have out are Jacob Phillips, who's been out forever,
Right.
Wyatt Teller, and Austin Hooper. So
Yeah.
Richardson, Treader, Taki, Sendejo, Njoku, Baker, Jarvis with a broken rib, Kareem Hunt, Harrison, Gillen, and Tay Davis. The only people we have out are Phillips, Teller, and Hooper. So whereas Teller, I mean, he hasn't practiced either. I mean, it is something going on with that calf is not good. So that's a problem. Hooper, just appendicitis, whatever. I mean, that's just like a freak, random, weird thing. So he's
Baker just can't have a bad interception today. That I'm sure it starts to weigh on a quarterback's mind. You make bad decisions is one thing. You get a tip ball, the guy drops it, or it goes between his hands and it gets tipped, and a guy makes a nice interception, whatever. That's luck. That's bad luck. But to throw behind, or to throw the pick six that he did last week, where he didn't see the safety coming up. I don't know what he was looking at, but he was clearly looking at the receiver coming across.
Right.
And the safety not only moved up, but he kept his eyes on Baker, and it was a classic pick, an absolute classic pick. Now, is he the only one? No. I've seen Brady do it. I've seen Rivers do it. I've seen Aaron Rodgers do it. So, all good quarterbacks have their bad days and their picks and whatnot. But
I mean, statistically speaking, from a points allowed perspective, the two best defenses in the league are the Ravens and Steelers, and the Steelers are number one.
Mm-hmm.
So we got those are the two game next week. Those are the two best defenses in the league, right? So
we had the Colts when they were the best defense, and we put up 30+ points on them
at home. Right. So I mean, the good thing is we have the two hardest games of the season out of the way. The bad news is we really didn't play well and didn't show up to play in those games at all. But the two hardest teams away are both gone and behind us. So if I'm Stefanski, I'm going, guys, yeah, we had two rough games. But we had 4 games that we persevered and stuck it out and got the win on all 4 of those games. And all 4 of those games had their moments. The Bengals game right at the end, right? The Washington game when they went up 2017. The Cowboys game when they were driving towards the end, scoring all those points in the fourth quarter, and then the Colts game right at the end too, where it really took an interception with red wine to seal it off, right? So,
right.
I mean, we persevered in those games, and I think if I'm Stefanski, I'm saying, guys, we beat this team before. Now, here's a couple interesting things. Like you mentioned that Joe Mixon's out. They're also starting cornerback William Jackson's out as well with a concussion. He didn't practice all week. Did not practice and out. But they do get Geno Akins back, right? So the defensive tackle is back, and he did not play in the first game where we really kind of ran all over them. I do expect Joe Burrow to throw quite a bit against us, guys. He threw 39 times last game. He threw 61 times against us. In the Ravens game that they lost, I don't have the stats on that. The Jaguars game, he threw 36 times. I expect Joe Burrow, I would say probably the over-under on Joe Burrow throwing the ball today is 40.
Yeah. I agree. I think he lost his running game. Maybe somebody steps up for them. Maybe they don't.
Gio Bernard's not bad. I was thinking about that before. Like Gio Bernard's not a bad backup running back. He's not Kareem Hunt backing up Nick Chubb's good, but he's not like they have nobody, right? So Gio Bernard can play and he can bang. He's had some really good games in the NFL. In all intents and purposes, could be starting on other teams. So I don't know if it's going to be that much of a downgrade. Now he's not Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon just adds so many different elements from the pass catching. I think he's just a swifter type back. I feel like Joe Mixon is the Kareem Hunt and Gio Bernard is the Nick Chubb for them, like the bruiser versus. But I don't think either of them kind of match up talent wise. I think where the Bengals match up with us talent wise is with their wide receivers. With AJ Green being healthy, I think John Ross was out with an illness, but I think he's playing. It's just a questionable. So, I mean, they got some guys who can catch the ball, and that is where we are the most vulnerable, right? So,
Yeah,
I don't know.
absolutely. Our secondary is not the greatest. We missed Greedy. Not that he was, playing outstanding and up to the capabilities that we thought he had, but better than the guys that we have in there now. They're trying to step up. They're trying to make plays. The corners, I think, will get by. It's a question of, what do we do in the safety position? Does Sendeo step up, have a good game?
Just an average game.
Do we get Joseph back? So he's back?
Yeah, he's not. He's questionable, but I think he'll play.
Yeah. So, the defense has got to show up. They can't let Burrow just walk all over them and score 40 points on us so that we have to score 45. I hope they step up. I think, my prediction on the score, I think it's going to be something like 35-27, 35-20.
High scoring game.
I think they're going to put up points because neither defense is all that good. And whoever defense plays better will take the pressure off their offense. And they'll play a little looser. We get a lead. God, when was the last time we coasted in the fourth quarter? I mean, I can't remember.
Yeah.
I can't remember a game we coasted in the fourth quarter. So
no, I'm with you. I think I'd like to see us play 4 quarters of consistent football today. I think I would love to see that just from start to finish, where we go out and beat the Bengals like the Steelers beat us last week. We beat them with coaching. We beat them with special teams, offense, defense, every motivation. But
it'll put us in such a good position to play the Raiders. If we do crappy today, it's going to make the uphill climb to try to beat the Raiders. Even though that one's at home, it'll make it that much more difficult because the Raiders are not a bad team at all. I mean, they're hanging in there.
No, not at all. No, the Raiders are 3-2, and beating the Chiefs, giving the Chiefs their one loss is
right.
Yeah. Do the Steelers play the Titans today? They do play the Titans today. Okay. So that's going to be an interesting game. They're both 5-0, right? So, and then the only other unbeaten team is the Seahawks.
One's 4-0, I think, or whatever. But you're right. They're both undefeated.
No, they're both 5-0.
Oh, 5-0. All right. So they caught up on the games then. But I got that one taped. I'm going to watch that one. And see, how the Steelers do, how the Titans do, that type of thing.
Yeah.
But I'm rooting for the Titans. I hope they beat them, bring them back to earth.
Yeah, I mean, the Raiders coming off that huge game against the Chiefs. And the thing is, the Raiders didn't blow them out. They did score 40 points against the Chiefs, which is scary, but they actually let them back into the game at the end, and the Chiefs had a chance to get an onside kick, and if they would have scored a touchdown, it's an 8-point game, so they could have tied it up. But they're going to have a tough one today, again, the Raiders against the Bucs. But, so, I mean, if the Raiders go 4-2 and beat the Bucs and the Chiefs coming to Cleveland, I mean, that's going to be that we're definitely not going to be favored in that one unless we really blow out the Bengals today. And I still think that's going to be a really, really good game between us and the Raiders. I think that's going to be a fun one to watch in Cleveland. I think finally it does feel to me that having teams come to our stadium is an advantage now. Whereas in the past it didn't really matter, or maybe even
the weather's changing. The fans are starting to come back to the stadium.
Yep.
I don't know how many fans they're going to allow in Cincinnati, but probably not too many. So that's to our advantage on a key away game like this. And if we can open it up a little bit more for more of our fans next week against the Raiders, that'd be great. And then we go into a bye week, and then hopefully we get Chubb back. I mean, I haven't heard much about his rehab and how he's doing. Anybody in chat knows anything about that, that'd be great. I have to assume that he's doing okay and that he's going to be back, and we'll have our dynamic duo back in the backfield.
Well, I think it really depends on. I think they're going to be very, very cautious with Nick Chubb. It's a knee injury. He's had knee problems in the past. That's where his longevity could potentially be impacted. We definitely don't need to rush him back with Kareem Hunt back there, still nursing that groin, but still, it's like actually they had Kareem Hunt listed as limited this week all week until Friday. Did full practice with rib injury, so we're just getting rib injuries left and right. But
those are tough to come back from.
Yeah, but they're gonna, as long as they don't do what the Chargers did and puncture a lung. I mean, they're not gonna feel much during the game. You know,
Right.
They should be numbing that area pretty good. All right, so they shouldn't feel that. But with this game on paper, 4-2 Browns away, even if it's away against 1-4-1 Bengals, we should on paper easily be able to win this. Bengals are on a 2-game losing streak after just having a crushing comeback loss against the Colts, where they had the game really in hand. Right? I mean, they really had the game in hand, and then the Colts come and score 10 points in the fourth quarter to beat them. But that's the thing. I mean, the Colts are 4-2, and the Colts are a decent. They're a playoff team.
Yeah.
Right. So
Rivers is playing okay. He has his ups and downs each week.
Yeah.
Depends on who shows up in his position. But if he's on, the Colts are tough to beat. So that was a good game to have under our belt. I don't think we're taking this one lightly. The Bengals, one, because it's division. Two, it's really close. In terms of being competitive. And I just don't think Stefanski will let them get down. I think the beating we took last week sort of, helped solidify the fact that on any given Sunday, you're either going to win big or get trounced, the capability there. And we got trounced last week. So I don't think they're going into this one overly optimistic or taking them for granted. They played him once, so they've seen him. They've seen Burrow. They know what he can do. They're not going to take him for granted. I hope that our defensive coordinator comes up with a good game plan that puts pressure on him. He's a rookie. He'll make rookie mistakes, but he'll only make them if you put pressure on him. If you give him all day, he's going to stand there like Brady, tall, accurate, boom, fire. So we can't let them do that. We got to get pressure. We got to blitz. We got to put our hands up. Miles has got to have a good game. He's got to put some pressure on him. If he gets to him and, knocks one loose, or he gets that, early sack, interception, whatever, that's huge. It can change the game. And the more pressure we put on him, the more he feels it, the more possibility he's going to make a mistake.
Yep. Well, I mean, if you think back to the first Bengals game, really there were two major plays that I believe were the big difference makers in that. First was the Myles Garrett strip sack, where we got the ball back and we were able to just push it in after they stopped us.
Yeah, that was huge. That was huge.
Huge. I mean, it was one of the big. It's one of those games that's the Myles Garrett factor, because as we've talked about, and I was talking with Ristano about this on the Wednesday show. By the way, guys, we've started a new Wednesday show for the last couple of weeks. Me and Ristano go for hours on Wednesday night. I think we're putting in. We say we're only going to do an hour. We end up doing 2.5 every week. So, guys, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. Everybody, if you could hit like right now. If you haven't hit like on the video yet, please do. It helps us rank higher in the algorithm. So please help us do that. But thinking back to that Myles Garrett strip sack, that was the impact that he makes. If he can just make one giant impact a game, that was it, right? And then because he's getting double and like 2.5 teamed, right, every play essentially, and you kind of have to do that to take him out of it. But the other big play, if you remember, was I think it was 3rd and long, and the Joe Burrow timeout where the ball went behind him.
Right.
Okay, so
yeah,
I mean,
over his head, yeah.
Yeah, those are two gifts. Okay, gifts.
Absolutely.
Now, and those are the type of plays that in the past, as Browns fans, we had experienced, right? I mean, those are bad plays that bad teams make. Okay?
Absolutely.
Now, have they cleaned them up? I don't know. But if they play like that, I mean, the Bengals right now, I'm telling you, are capable of scoring points. And when you score points in the NFL, anything can happen. They put up 27 against the Colts. Again, a very good defense. Everybody can admit and agree that the Colts have a good defense. They didn't really put up anything against the Ravens, which is expected. They put up 33 against the Jags. They put up 23 against the Eagles, 30 against us. I would love to see today the Browns finally having a game where they allow less than 20 points on defense.
Right.
So far, the best game we've done is the Washington game where we let up 20. Every other game, they've been 30-plus points, and anything could happen in 30-plus point games.
Yeah, if we can get the running game going, I think that's the key. We can get the running game going so that they have to protect against, they have to watch the play action to freeze the linebackers. And if you do that, Baker has a much better chance, whether he's rolling out or he stays in the pocket, he has a much better chance. If we can't get the running game going for whatever reason, and Baker has to throw more, well, we all know what happens when Baker has to throw more. Now, maybe he can throw more against Cincinnati and pull it off if that has to be the case. But I'm really counting on Hunt and the backup guys doing a good job. Offensive line, keep Burrow off the field with long drives, which are running drives that eat up the clock. The less possessions he has, the better chance we have. So all those things are things that will dictate who wins this game.
Yeah. No, I'm with you 100%. And if Baker's got to show up, the offense has got to play well around him. No mistakes, no bad interceptions, no bad turnovers. Special teams has to execute. I'm sick of us doing something great, like a pick six, and then giving up a long return kick, like falling asleep. The special teams has got to kick your extra points, kick your field goals, make your tackles. Don't have any penalties. Special teams has got to execute. That's the only thing special teams does. Kick accurately, don't have penalties. That's all you got to do, okay? So special teams take care of business. And then defense has got to be able to stop the pass because they're going to throw the ball a lot. We've established that. Looking at historical trends with Joe Burrow, he's still throwing the ball over 30 times a game, close to 40. He threw it 60 times against us. I don't know if the only way he's going to throw 60 times is if we get up way ahead. Right.
And he's got to throw every down to catch up to not utilize too much of the clock.
Right.
But the thing about him, like with Brady and Aaron Rodgers and even Rivers, they can score so quickly. I mean, because they can hit these passes. It's not like they're going to, if they fall behind, they're going to run the ball, down our throat to try to catch up. No, Burrow's going to go back and he's going to throw because he likes to throw. Their game plan is around that. So we just got to play hard enough that we can avoid giving up those big plays because those are killers. Those are just killers when you give up big plays like that. Yeah,
we can't let up any big plays. We have to just play our game, and I want to see the consistency today. That's what I really want. Just give me consistency, guys. That's all I want.
Right.
Show up.
Yeah, we don't have consistency, that's for sure. It's like we're holding our breath every game as to who's going to show up, how are they going to perform. And clearly it starts with Baker. And so we'll know early on,
right?
Maybe the first 3 or 4 passes, are they crisp? Are they on the money? Is he throwing into coverage? Is he making bad decisions? It'll be, if he has a couple of good passes, it'll boost his confidence. And you got to have a quarterback with confidence. Once you rattle them, you're halfway home to beating that team.
You're right. Let's do a t-shirt giveaway. What do you say? All right, so let's switch it up. Let's do homage first, and then Sabo Apparel second today. So all right, guys. So give me 1 to 100 for homage. Now you guys know the drill. Give me 1 to 100. My number is in. Okay, my number's in. So just type in your number in chat right now. Make sure you hit like, share out the link too. God, if you can help us out with a share, that'd be awesome. Also consider joining the Patreon. Well, we have a second to talk about that. And also, I want to give a special shout out to Quincy Carrier as well. So guys, Quincy just had a lot of his income messed with from YouTube. There was some weird like clicky stuff that wasn't anything to do with him, but YouTube basically suspended 2 months of his income. And I mean, this is his full-time job. So if you guys don't mind, like, think about potentially going over to Quincy's Patreon as well and giving him $1 or $2. I mean, it really helps. And for us independent content creators, most of us, other than Patreon, this is kind of the way that we generate revenue so we can do the giveaways. So consider going over to Quincy's as well. The dude creates some pretty awesome stuff. Looking... All right, I'm gonna give everybody.
I checked the weather in Cincinnati. It's going to be clear and 60 degrees, 59, 58 degrees. So weather is not going to be a factor. I didn't check on the wind conditions, but could be windy. But it's not raining. It's not snowing. It's not super cold. So that should not be a factor one way or the other. And if it's not windy, then obviously it won't affect the passing game per se. Mm-hmm. It'll be totally up to the quarterbacks to make their throws and complete them. So,
all right. So the number was 30, and I think the closest one was 33 from Kid Wilson. Pretty sure we have 34 for Gary Washington, one number off. We also had a 26 from Hambone, again, one number off. So right splitting the middle there, we got Kid Wilson for 33. Kid Wilson, send me a go to Homage, pick out a t-shirt, send me your size, address, and a link to that t-shirt to browniepostgame@gmail.com. So
great.
Kid Wilson wins. Email me at browniepostgame@gmail with the Homage t-shirt link, your size, and okay, cool. Boom, cool. Congratulations, Kid Wilson. I don't know if Kid Wilson has won one yet. I know quite a few of the other people have. He's one of the guys who keeps coming back, so we'd love to see that. Appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I got to tell you that I think I'm a bit nervous that this could be a game that we overlook, thinking that the Bengals are bad. They're not. It's an in-division game. We have to win this. If you look at the Browns' schedule, the good thing about this is I think it's going to take 9 games minimum to make the playoffs, and 10 games because they've added that extra playoff team this year. 10 wins should automatically get everybody in. Okay. Now, the Bengals aren't competitive because they play in the AFC North. If they were playing in the NFC East, they'd be tied for probably first, I think, in the NFC East. But in the AFC North, and honestly in the AFC in general, I don't think the Bengals are really playoff contenders right now unless they turn it up for the back half of the year. But the Raiders will be, and the Colts will be. Right, so those are the two teams that are. It's a great that we got that win against the Colts, because that could be one of those factors that comes in for wild card.
The Chargers aren't bad either. I mean, they step up every other game, and you never know who's going to show up for them. So that's another team that you can't totally dismiss.
Yeah, well, they're 1-4 though, so I mean, they're one of those teams that if you have to play them, you don't want to overlook them. But in terms of the playoffs. So we got to we have to be able to play well against the Raiders. Good thing that they're at home. Then we come off the bye week. We play the bad Texans at home, which the Texans on our schedule. I think everybody looking at this year would have said the Texans are probably a loss, or it's going to be a very close game. They're playing really bad, but I think they won last week, right? Did they not? Texans? No, they lost to the Titans. They beat the Jags. So I mean, they're not, the Texans are just in shambles right now.
Yeah, they don't know whether they're coming or going with the new coach and all the changes and everything. But another team to watch and a game to watch is Miami, with Tua being
you're right,
right off the sidelines, and
he could be an X Factor type thing that really because they're in contention right now. So Ara earlier on in chat asked who I thought who were going to be the 7 teams out of the AFC. I think the Bills are going to win the AFC East. I think the Chiefs are going to win the AFC West. The North is going to be, I think it's going to be the Ravens. I think the Ravens are going to beat the Steelers. So I think the Ravens win the AFC North. And then the AFC South is the Titans. Those are your 4. And then you get 3 wild cards. right? Which is great because, I mean, that was always a thing. It's like, man, you got 4 division winners, and maybe the division winner could be terrible just because they happen to fall in a schedule. That's not really fair. The year that in 2007, we went 10-6 and didn't make the playoffs, that sucks. So, but anyway, we have three. I think we make the playoffs. I think the Raiders make the playoffs. And if I had to pick up the last team, it's either going to be the Colts or the Patriots. I don't think the Dolphins are going to, I'm not buying the Dolphins yet. Even though a 3-3 start for them is, I mean, it's amazing for them.
Today's going to be a key. If Tua can come out and play fairly
Wait, hold
decently,
hold on a second. I said so the Steelers have to make the playoffs too. Hold on. So I have to change that. Yeah. So it's going to be the Browns, the Raiders, and the Steelers are going to be the 3 teams in the playoffs. The Colts the reason why is because we're going to both. If let's say we end up 9-7, right? Which is it's very possible we end up 9-7. I really think it's going to be 10-6, but let's say we go 9-7. I think the Colts are also going to go 9-7, and we're going to have the tiebreaker beating them. And we're going to be the last team that slips into the playoffs, and then we're going to have to play the freaking Steelers or the Chiefs.
Well, we have to play the Steelers in December anyway, right?
In January. You play them January 3rd. Last game of the season.
Last game of the season. So if we can't win that game at home against the Steelers, then we don't deserve to be in the playoffs. I mean, it's as simple as that.
Well, here's the key, though.
If they counted on that, to get in the playoffs, would have all the motivation in the world to beat them and knock them out. It's going to be a knockdown, drag out. But if we lose that game, regardless, we shouldn't be in the playoffs. I mean, it's just having lost to them twice, probably Baltimore is going to beat us the second time unless we're really playing well. So, it's nice to get in the playoffs and have a game and whatnot because you never know what can happen. But still, I wouldn't be too optimistic if we lose that game to the Steelers at the end.
Oh, I mean, and it's like one of those unfortunate things. If we win that game, then we're red hot going to the playoffs and we're excited. If we lose and get blown out 38-7 like we did last week, then we're again, not humiliated, but just demoralized going into the playoffs, which is not a good thing.
I think the season's over. I think that will dictate whether we get in or we don't get in based on playing the Steelers that last game. So it's going to be
this depends.
Huge.
So these next 4 games, and you could argue 5, are really going to be the tail of the season. These next 5 games, the middle quarter.
Yeah, you got to get there to have a
middle
chance.
Third.
We can't be 4-10 and playing the Steelers. It's why even bother? Why show up?
Right.
But I hope it's the game of the season. Momentum, home field, weather, you name it. I want us to be in it so that is a great game to watch.
So looking at these next couple games, we got to take care of the business against the Bengals. We're gonna have a tough game against the Raiders. So I don't know what the line is today, but we have to be favorites against the Bengals. So let's say that we win today and we go 5-2. If we lose to the Raiders, we're 5-3 and still in pretty good shape at the bye, right? Because I think there's 5 wins on the back half of the season as well. If we win both games and go 6-2 going into the bye, which would be amazing, then we're in much better at 6-2. Then we have to beat the Giants and the Jets to go to get to 8, and then we have to win 2 more games, 9-10. Then we have to beat either the Texans, Eagles, Jags. Maybe we play a really good game against the Titans. Maybe we play a really good game against the Ravens or the Steelers. In the past, last year, we beat the Ravens once. We beat the Steelers once. These are games that are going to be late in the season at home. Who knows what's going to happen with injuries? We're going to have Nick Chubb back, right? So Nick Chubb's going to be back for Ravens and Steelers. He's going to also be there for Giants and Jets. Giants and Jets are 2 more Bengals like a caliber teams. So they're going to be Browns favorites. If we beat the Bengals today, get our swagger back, then we play the Raiders tough and we pull off a victory at 6-2. That is a massive moral victory for us at the bye.
And a week to rest, a week to get Chubb back. I mean, who do we play after the bye, Mike?
Texans at home, then Eagles at home. So it's like Raiders, This is the schedule gods helped us out a lot this year because we go Raiders, Texans, Eagles, boom, boom, boom in the middle of the season. Then we got to go to the Jags. So you come down to Florida, play a nice Florida game late November. It'll be crisp, but it won't be cold, right? So it'll probably be in the 60s, maybe. Jacksonville's 3 hours north of me, so maybe in the high 50s, but it'll be a crisp game. The Titans game is going to be cold, the 6th, so we can afford to drop that game. The Ravens game, we're going to be able to afford to drop that game if we take care of the Bengals, Raiders, Texans, Eagles playoffs. We book your seats, guys. It's happening. It's happening. But we really we got over the first test. The first test of the season was how does Stefanski come in and operate this new team? Are we going to be able to marry the talent with on-field production? I think in a lot of ways we passed that test. Our defense is still suspect. Our playing against really tough competitors is still somewhat suspect. Playing away is suspect. So the good thing is we'll see. This test this week, because every week has been a test. Can we come back from that Steelers loss? Can we play an away game well? So the last game we played away really well was the Cowboys, and arguably allowing them to put up as many points. They put up 38, including 24 in the freaking fourth quarter. Can we play away consistently? And then can we take care of business against the Raiders, Texans, and Eagles? Because the Texans are beatable. The Eagles are beatable. The Raiders are. I'm just telling you, because Dad, I think you were the one who used to tell me like we play terrible when we go to LA. We go to Oakland. When we used to go to Oakland, it was just almost you could chalk up an automatic loss. For some reason, we could not. I don't know. There was a time zone difference. If it was that stupid field with the baseball field in the middle of it, I don't know what it was. But now the Raiders got to come, halfway across the country to come to play in Cleveland. And honestly, I'm not buying David Carr as this MVP candidate. I think he's going to come back down to earth at some point, and it could be the game against the Browns. Although our secondary is just like it's a dream come true against a decent quarterback. I think Tannehill is going to light us up. Carr, we'll see. But in terms of if you just look at the quarterbacks we face rookie Joe Burrow again. I think he'll have a better game, but I don't think he's going to have a fantastic game. David Carr. Deshaun Watson, Carson Wentz. Deshaun and Carson Wentz are having down years. David Carr's having the year of his life. Then Gardner Minshew, Tannehill, who's having an MVP season. He's having a better season than freaking Pat Mahomes. Tannehill in Tennessee. That's going to be a tough one. Then Lamar Jackson, then Daniel Jones, then Darnold or Flacco, and then Ben Roethlisberger to end the season. Guys, we've got winnable games. That we just
that's whether Roethlisberger can make it to the end of the season. He's one play away from hurting his arm or he's getting less and less mobile. He's got a good offensive line that can protect him pretty much. Mm-hmm. He's got all those great instincts to step up at the right time. He's still big and physical that he can throw off guys, but it would be great if we didn't have to face him in January and the backup is in there. That would be great, but nobody wants to wish an injury on anybody. But all things will come down to that game, I think, at the end of the season.
Yep. So it's going to be it's just going to be another interesting game today. Last week I was real nervous. This week I'm somewhat nervous, but this is a game that we should win. And I was talking to some guys on Twitter, and I made this point on the Wednesday show with Ristano. Again, I'm going to give a shameless plug out to our Wednesday show with Ristano. If you guys are not subscribed to the channel, subscribe, hit the like button, and then hit the alert button so then you know when we go live for that Wednesday night show, the midweek show. And the point I was making is this is a young team, and teams that are young typically are emotionally driven. And that's what the Browns are. When the going is good for the Browns and when the going is good for young people, everything's great. But when the going gets tough and you got to fight, in tough situations with a young, immature team that's emotionally driven, that's where we've collapsed, right? Those games, the games against the Cowboys, the games against the Colts, we held on. We came back for Washington. Washington's terrible.
We didn't lose a game that we were supposed to win or competitive. We lost 2 games, one out of the box against very good Ravens team, and the Steelers are playing very well. So it wasn't like we lost to a schmo team. Obviously, a loss to the Giants or the Jets would be demoralizing later on. But we have that to look forward to pad our record so that we can get into the playoffs or at least put ourselves in a spot where that last game means a lot. So I'm optimistic that we're going to play well against this team. They are not the Ravens. They are not the Steelers.
Yep.
And we've already beat them once, so we've got that confidence going. Baker, more often than not lives up to the challenge. When it's on the line, he plays well. We haven't seen too many, back-to-back really bad games by him, especially when you play a weak team. If you were taking him for granted, yeah, I could see us looking over it, but we're not looking past this game. We're not taking this one for granted. And Baker's got something to prove, especially to all those naysayers that are out there that want him to not play well so they can get somebody else, whoever they think they want to get. But
I keep thinking back on it to this team, to the Browns, the last 20 years. We have a guy that has not played well against really good teams, but has played fine against the other teams, and you have to root for him to win. Yeah, I think everybody right now is a film breakdown specialist. Everybody wants to crap all over Baker, but there are stats also that show how good he is. Just like every even Superman has a way you can beat him with kryptonite. There's nobody's perfect, right?
Right. Yeah,
play action's got to work.
He has played well. Those games that we won, was he perfect? Did he have an outstanding QB rating in all those games? No, but he made the plays when he had to, avoided the big screw ups in those wins. And if he does that today, 1, we'll be competitive, and 2, I think we'll win. So it's a lot riding on the shoulders, but that comes with the territory. You accept the quarterback position. He's got the swagger. He's got the history. He knows he can do it, and it's great to have a quarterback that has that kind of confidence. It's just like Bernie. When Bernie played, every time he went out on the field, I thought we were going to win the game. I didn't care who it was or when it was, including putting us behind in the fourth quarter. He just had a knack, especially when teams started playing prevent. He would just pick them apart with his accuracy, and then all of a sudden he'd pop one to Slaughter or pop one to Brennan or whatever, and all of a sudden we're back in the game. We got a chance to win it, and we had solid defenses back then when Bernie was playing really well. We were winning or coming close to winning our divisions, and so defense plays a big part of it as well. We can't let them score today at will, because then it's going to put more pressure on Baker, and he's going to try to put it all on his shoulders, and that we know how that turns out. That doesn't turn out too well.
Well, going back looking at the schedule now, it's kind of interesting because the Ravens have a bye week, so they're off today, and then the Steelers have the Titans, then the Ravens back to back, and they got to play at the Titans, and then they got to with that makeup game. Then they got to play at the Ravens. Then they go to the Cowboys, so it's away. Then they play the Bengals at home, so they have a softball coming back home. So these next 3 games, if I'm a Steelers fan, you're going to know if they're for real or not. Did they pass the test against the Browns? Yes. At home, they did. They beat us really bad. But they got the Steelers, the Ravens, and the Cowboys. I think the Ravens take care of business. I'm actually really excited about that game November 1st. Because that's going to really...
it's always great when they beat up on each other.
That's for sure. Because we'll get the Raiders at 1, unfortunately, so we're going to play the same time. But yeah, that's a critical thing. We see Engraven Vids is in the house here as well. Is curious who he's going to be watching, either the Browns, Bengals, or the Steelers and Titans today, since we're both at 1:00. But RS says, do you think the Bengals will end up running Joe like we did Tim Couch, or the Colts did with Andrew Luck? I think if I'm Joe Burrow and with the Bengals, I mean he's clearly the key guy, and they're going to use him quite a bit. So they drafted him first overall.
They're only going to get better.
He's going to be very good. Joe Burrow is going to be very good if they can keep him alive.
Joe Burrow is no Tim Couch, or vice versa.
Right.
And the team that Couch had around him was not very good. And he put up.
Yeah, he didn't have Joe Mixon or AJ Green. Well, here's the thing with Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow right now. The last stat I saw that he's on pace to be sacked 70 times this year. That's David Carr level getting sacked. That's Tim Couch level getting sacked. So, and Andrew Luck had a better offensive line for the most part, but he got beat up a lot. Quite. So I get where R is going with that. But you get hit 70 times. It takes away from your production, number one, because you're getting sacked 70 times, 70 plays that they're taking away from you. But they're also, when you get sacked, you're put in a position where you have to then make back those yards. And if one guy lands on you weird, look at last year with Myles Garrett. I can't remember who the Jets quarterback was that he landed on. They just basically ended his career. He just landed on him and cracked everything, broke every bone in his body, and that was it. So it just takes one guy to land on you badly, and Joe Burrow could be hurt.
Have a helmet to helmet. They had, I was watching the Virginia Tech game yesterday, and one of their key linebackers was in on a sack for the quarterback, and it would have turned the ball over, and they would have got it back. Mm-hmm. But he wound up, hitting him helmet to helmet. And it wasn't like he put his helmet down. He was standing up because they had already grabbed him, and he was coming in to finish him off. Well, he finished him off all right. And then he has the audacity to argue with the refs and yell at the other sideline. So they threw another one, an unsportsmanlike penalty on top of that. And, those are the types of plays that kill a team. But the quarterbacks are just one play away from not only their career being over, but the season being over, being knocked out of a game.
Yep.
This concussion protocol is not something you say, oh, okay, I'm better, put me back in, coach. No, it doesn't work that way anymore. So you take a shot to the head, whether they call it or they don't call it, or they throw you to the ground, or they lay on top of you like they did to Baker, and hurt your ribs or your shoulder or whatever. Those are key, and the guys who can survive and don't lose their quarterback are the teams that are probably going to do well down the stretch. Yeah,
and I mean, guys, I just keep looking at the schedule, and it's Trevor Siemian. There you go, Ara. Thank you. Yeah, I remember that dude. I look at these things. I look at these teams that are out there. I know that everybody was kind of freaking out this week. That's why I put Mike and I were talking, about should we panic or should we chill? I think we chill. I think that Baker's still he's still going to have a very decent year. If he gets some good games in there against the Jets, Giants, and Bengals, where he really pads those stats, has 3-4 touchdown games, then people are going to back off of him. People forget when they look at the stats alone that we have Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. And we have OBJ doing reverses and crazy stuff like that. We have Jarvis Landry throwing touchdowns. It's not just about Baker, and that's a good thing. spreading
Absolutely.
out the talent, I remember when I played football, when we used to have a big play from a running back or throw a little lateral pass and a guy would break it off for 20, 30 yards, or God forbid, break off a big 70-yard run. Those it just took the weight of the world off of you.
Absolutely.
It feels like you don't have to force things. You don't have to make it happen yourself, right? So that's the key is can we as the Browns spread it out, continue to play our game? Stefanski's obviously not a dumb guy. He's going to allow Baker to be Baker, keeping him in check. Hopefully he doesn't have to throw over 35 times. We all know the stats about if Baker throws over 35 times, we don't win as much. So expect us to have a run-heavy game today. Hopefully Geno Akins doesn't really impact that too terribly. If we play our game, then I think that we've got a shot. A shot to go 5-2, guys. And this is a very strange thing, Dad, right? To be a Browns fan, 5-2 to start off the season. Really staring like playoffs are in vid. We see the light. The light at the end of the tunnel is there. Playoffs. So cool stuff.
Mike, can you, Country Fishing West Hunting there said, where can I watch the game? Can you give him?
No, unfortunately, I cannot. Yeah. No, it's so you have to. I'll tell you, if you guys are wondering, if you guys are out of market and you want to be able to watch the game, you don't have the NFL Sunday ticket, just Google NFL streams. And I think one of them that's out there is called Cracked Streams. Right.
Stream East, I think, is another one that you can you can stream.
Crackstreams.com. Go to crackstreams.com and you can stream it. Apparently, I don't know if it's legal or not. I'm not telling you that. I'm not endorsing it, but I'm saying if you're out of market and you can't see it or whatever, if you just Google it, you might be able to find a way to watch it. That's what I recommend. But there's plenty of ways, guys. Reddit has some answers for you as well. So Google is your friend. Just remember that. And then
not only that, but like you and I have been doing with YouTube TV, if you've got that, you can, depending on what market you're in, you might get a different game than your local broadcast. So that might be another option.
Yep.
I'm on with Mike. He's in Orlando, so I see his local channels up in Orlando. I'm down in Parkland near Fort Lauderdale, and both my market as well as Mike's market up in Orlando for YouTube TV has the Steelers and the Titans. So we've got to go through other means to try to see this game.
Right. You just gotta be you gotta be resourceful, and Google is your friend. Remember that, guys. I think that's, I was talking to Lindsay about this, and about how they're going to be able to sell the games without DirecTV, because I think next year is when it comes up, and I think they're finally, from a technology standpoint, in a place where they could go to YouTube, and I think YouTube is probably where they're going to go, right? Yeah. They go to YouTube and they could sell the whole season, meaning every game, the same exact price that they sell the NFL ticket for right now with DirecTV. So what is it, like $250? Is that how much the Sunday ticket is?
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay, so $250, you get every game and the red zone and NFL channel. So $250, you get every NFL game. Maybe for like $150, you get your team. So 16 games for $150, or you buy each individual game for $9.99. Right? So if you look at it and you go, I guarantee that I can have this, if you don't have any other way to do it, and you don't want to deal with streaming services or anything like that, you don't have a dish, you don't want to put a dish on your house, man, if somebody said $10 a game, now the challenge with that is, if you're the Browns where you have a bad team, do you want to get the discount? Maybe it's $99 a year for the all 16 games, right? $100 for every game. Maybe you just want to kind of play it by ear and be like, well, do I want it? Because you're going to get a couple national games too. You're going to get Monday night, Thursday night, Sunday night. You might even get a flex game. That Pittsburgh Steelers game at the end of the season, that January 3rd game, that could be flexed to the Sunday night game if we're both in the mix, right? So you're going to get a couple of those. Maybe $100 isn't worth it and you just kind of play it by ear. there's going to be ways. It's going to be interesting. But right now, I will tell you, with the internet, with how good things are with the internet in terms of, if there's a will, there's a way. I just don't know how they're going to be able to combat the piracy. It is just too rampant. And the thing is, you still have to watch the freaking commercials. So at the end of the day, your advertisers are getting eyeballs. You might not be able to track it, but the advertisers are getting eyeballs even when the illegal streams are going on. So the NFL, or you know what, Dad? Maybe the NFL says, don't give us anything. We're just going to give that the whole thing away free with YouTube, and YouTube pays them the kind of money that DirecTV did. YouTube goes, okay, because didn't DirecTV pay them like $100 billion or something stupid?
Yeah, a ton of money to have it for, and maybe they'll come up again, because that's the only thing that's saving DirecTV, in my opinion, with all these streaming options and YouTube TV and other streaming channels, Roku, etc. All these devices that you can use, to avoid having to pay a big fee to DirecTV. I have one more contract that I'm still in down here in Florida with them. And as soon as the buyout makes it reasonable for me to get out, I'm going to get out unless they can offer me something much reduced price. I don't get any of the premium channels. I don't go up for HBO or Stars or any of that stuff. So I'm trying to keep my bill to a minimum. And of course, I got 2 locations. I go up to Delaware for the summer and the start of the football season. But I'm not using DirecTV up there anymore either. So I think their business plan is going by the way of Blockbuster. It was great while it lasted, and you cornered the market. But somebody came up with a improved mousetrap, and you're going to be tomorrow's history because you can't keep up with them. That's the way you were making your money. It's all subscribers. It's all people forgetting that they're paying this bill every month and how high it is. That's all coming home to roost, and I think they're going to be in trouble down the road.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And it looks like it was $1.5 billion, and the contract goes through 2022. So 2 more years.
22?
Yeah.
I thought it was out next year.
No, 2022 per the Wall Street Journal. So yeah. Unfortunately, that is the case. So, all right, guys, good pregame show. We got about an hour to go here till the game starts. Give me real quick before we go, everybody hit like, and also give me some score predictions. Everybody get in chat, give me some score predictions. I want to know what you think is going to happen. Are you going to be like Cleveland.com and think that we're going to lose? Although I think all the Cleveland.com people this week said that we're going to win. Do you think we're going to win or lose today? Go ahead and give me your score predictions. I'm going to go ahead and say, you're right, Dad. I think we're going to score 37 points, and they're going to score 19.
Wow. Okay.
A really weird score, but that's what it's going to be. 30. All I'm saying is I just want the Browns to score 37 and hold them under 20. Right? That's what I'm hoping for here.
Yeah. That would be a nice game to watch.
Right? I would love that. I would love it.
Well, let's see who shows up today. Is it the bounce back Browns, or is it we're still licking our wounds from last week Browns? I think Stefanski is with his coaching staff has got us in a much better position, player-wise, game plan-wise, confidence-wise than Freddie Kitchens had us struggling through the middle part of the season. We were still able to win games even under Freddie with all that controversy that was going on, and Jarvis hurt, and Odell being hurt, and Baker not playing up to his full potential. So I think this is bounce back week, and I'm looking forward to the game.
All right, guys. Everybody have a good one, and we will see you for the post game at probably somewhere around 4:05-ish. I think I have it scheduled for. So, guys, go Browns. We'll see you soon. Hit the like button and all that stuff, and that alert as well before you leave to help us out.
Go Browns.
And we'll see you soon. Go Browns.